Hi everyone, welcome back to Druggies Lives Matter, my Black Lives Matter offshoot program on the Pot Smokers Bible channel on YouTube and social media. And this program is designed to give me the platform by which to declare my intention to fight the war on drugs. You see, I I am the self-proclaimed prophet of Israel, champion of the drug users' cause. I have been authorized by this book, right here, Holy Bible, to champion the cause of an oppressed people here on earth, a people oppressed for their use of drugs. Believe it or not, that's what the prophecy of Israel says. I know this because I wrote a book about it. Actually, two books. The first book that I wrote about this is the Book of Zion. And I really didn't write it. I followed the instructions of the prophet Isaiah, and I rearranged the testimony of the prophets of Israel. And it became the Book of Zion, written entirely in Bible verse, 24 chapters that outline the events of 2020 and beyond. And as part of that prophecy, it is my job to champion the cause of the potheads and the drug users. Because we are a particular people. And we take center stage in events to come. Because I have taken it upon myself to follow the instructions left to me by the prophets and to fulfill prophecy, which is what I've done. The final step that I was required to take in order to fulfill the prophecy of Israel was to publish peace. And that's what Druggies Lives Matter is meant to do, along with every other program that I'm doing, which, let me see, there's the prophetic news, there's Stories of Zion, there's the Pot Smokers Bible, Book of Zion, Greetings, Druggies Lives Matters, and the Gray Say There's a Better Way. So I have all these different programs designed to fulfill prophecy, publish peace, teach the world what I have learned in my service to God. Now, I started this service when I was 17 years old in 1979. I promised God that if He would end my pain and suffering, that I would serve Him in order to end the pain and suffering of others. And I did just that. God kept His part of the bargain. He helped me to overcome a lifetime of sexual depravity. I was sexually molested my entire childhood, and it devastated me, which is why I turned to God. And thank God I was a pothead, because He heard me. I didn't know it at the time, but marijuana is the key to the prophecy of Israel. It is the means by which the prophecy is fulfilled, which is why druggies' lives matter, because it is druggies that fulfill prophecy. In fact, the druggies themselves are the prophecy. The prophecy of Israel predicts the war on drugs, and it projects the means by which the war will end. That's where I come in. By doing this program and publishing peace, I'm declaring myself the champion of the drug users. Druggies' lives matter more than you believe or know. And that's what this program is about. You see, the prophecy predicts that I will follow in the footsteps of Moses, that I will take the government on in regards to the war on drugs. So I am, with this program and all the other programs that I'm doing, I'm challenging the government. I'm taking a stand for drug users. We are not the problem. We're the solution. We would not even be a people if the war on drugs had not been created as a means to destroy the human race. That's all it ever was. Dow Chemical created a plastic world of crap by making marijuana and hemp illegal. And it was the making of it was the creation of the war on drugs that empowered the police, that created the mentality that drug users were less than human. Well, I'm here to tell you that we are not less than human. We are actually more. You see, if you look back in history at drug use, there's two means by which people use drugs in history: medicinal and spiritual. Now, a lot of my people use drugs medicinally for mental anguish, for dealing with all the crap that the world forces us to deal with, and for health reasons. But in addition to that, you get the spiritual effects. You can't not have the spiritual effects with it, because it is through the spiritual means by which we heal ourselves through the medicine. But the use of drugs, particularly marijuana, creates shamanism. All witch doctors, shamans, practitioners of the arts, which is whatever you want to call us. It's the use of drugs that has always been the activating force in this. That's what the Bible says. It teaches us that marijuana is the tree of life. It is a gift of God, the greatest gift that God has given us, because it literally does not come from the planet Earth. It comes from the God's homeworld. And yes, I'm saying that God is alien. They're great. Now, all of our mythology teaches us that we were created in the image of God. And all the flood myths tell us that we were too noisy before the flood. That was because before the flood, we were all telepaths. We could speak with our minds, just like the Grey do. And the reason we could do so was because marijuana, and other plants that contain THC were around prior to the flood. But marijuana and hemp were left. The others were taken off world. And it was left to us, hidden. The knowledge of what it did was hidden from us. They just neglected to tell that last generation about it, so nobody knew. So that when the Grey left, only a few people had the use of marijuana and were telepathic, so we quieted down a whole lot. They can't hear you if you're not high. Because the drug use enhances your telepathic abilities, and marijuana turns on your telepathic abilities. So we are literally priests, shamans, witch doctors, witches, warlocks, whatever you want to call us. Spiritual practitioners, if you will. And that is why we are not humans. When you ingest marijuana, you literally turn on your gray anatomy. You become like God. So you enhance your humanity. You become human 2.0. And they didn't, the government didn't know that when they created us. Now, according to the prophecy, and according to history, when the Grey came back, they tried to work with the governments. But the governments, being the humans that they are, did the base and dishonorable thing and broke the contract that was the treaty that was initiated between the two species. You see, the Grey gave us technology, but we were not allowed to use it for war. We were not allowed to use it for profit. So when when the governments broke the contract, the treaty, the Grey initiated the prophecy. They set in motion a preset course of events that they had laid out in this book or similar book. And they had the government create laws that created my people, the people of Zion, the drug users. And now I step forward to draw attention to that fact, to disprove the war on drugs, to expose the truth of prophecy, of government, and to stage the final event meant to reunite the humans and God, heaven, by following in the footsteps of Moses and the Israelites when they did the Exodus from Egypt. So, this program is designed to justify drug use, first of all, and to create the right conditions to fulfill the rest of the prophecy, which is to stage the camp out for Zion. It is going to be a Mahatma Gandhi-like strike against the oppression of the corporate state. So all the Black Lives Matter people who have been subjected to brutality by the police, who have been empowered by the war on drugs, are invited to go camping with me. And all of those people who followed the white supremacists on January 6th because they hate the government, because of their drug use, I'm inviting you to a peaceful alternative. You hate the government? Believe me, so do I. But the difference between me and the white supremacists is that I espouse peace. So, if you hate the government and you hate violence, like I do, I suggest we go camping, like Moses and the Israelites did. Let's hold a solemn assembly, just like the Israelites did. Because when Moses demanded that Pharaoh let the people go, it was so that they could go to a solemn assembly to worship their God. So let's all take a lesson from Moses and go camping and hold a solemn assembly and see if God won't come rescue us like they did Israel. So, may the Grey, our gods, watch over us, guide us, protect us, and keep us from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, just like they taught me. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light. The unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it, because that'll make you happy, and make that your choice when we get to Camp Zion. if you use drugs, stay happy and high. You have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote 2 books about it. My name is Zion. Love you too much to say goodbye. So I'm going to say later now.